another sarsaparilla, Fergus?
Dunno.
Because if you want one, I gotta go out there and get me another barrel. That's the last of it there. What do you say?
Dunno.
Well, Fergus, you just go ahead and think about it, or does thinking give you too much of a headache?
No.
You really try your body's patience. Do you know that, Fergus?
Dunno.
Well, you do. I wonder how Dixie puts up with you. Like pulling teeth to get 3 words out of you. Unless you're different when you two lovebirds are alone, are you?
Dunno.
I didn't think so. I can't picture you whispering sweet nothings in her ear. It's a mystery to me without God season you. A powerful mystery. You ready for another sarsaparilla?
Dunno.
You dunno. Story your life, Fergus. Is your mom still angling with that indigestion? Dunno. I was a fool to ask. You tell her to take one of these every once in a while, and it'll do the trick. Oh, and Fergus, keep it away from the cats. They love the smell of it. Silly bombers.
Thank you.
You seen Dixie today?
Dunno.
Fergus, either you seen her or you ain't. Which is it?
Ain't.
I gotta have me a talk with that girl. If you sees her before I do, you tell her, forget it.
Is Mr. Mellon in here?
Never heard of him.
Oh, goodness. I've been looking for him everywhere.
What's his name again?
Mr. Mellon Barclay Mellon.
Still never heard of him. And I knows everybody in Longcat Crossing. And everybody within 10 miles. Ain't that right, Fergus?
Dunno.
I know. I thought that's what you'd say.
Bertie, you ever heard of crumpets?
No, who's he?
It's something you eat. And gammon, and scald, and Earl Grey.
Earl who? Are you talking about Earl Wagner? The fellow who's got that cabin down in the hollow?
No, these all foods.
Ada Burke, have you gone plumb loco? Who'd want to eat Earl, what's his name, step down cannibals?
It's a kind of tea, he told me.
Who? Earl?
No, Mr. Mellon He's a British gent who...
We're talking about that line Barlow place? Name of Mellon something?
Mr. Mellon that's the one. He done hired me as his cook yesterday, and he seems real nice and all, but today, he goes asking for gammon and crumpets and scalds, and I ain't never heard of any of them.
Let me see. I'm a recollecting now. You done told me these foods. Crumpets like toast, I reckon, but thinner. And scones like biscuits, but more round.
You got him here?
Of course not. What I want stuff like that for?
What am I gonna do, Bertie? If I can't find him here, I gotta walk 6 miles to Spittersville.
Tell you what, you'll do no such thing. Cook yourself up some flapjacks, but press them real flat, overdo them a little. There, you got your crumpets. And for the scones, just bake some biscuits. But while they're still hot, roll them on the table so they get round. I don't know what gammon is. And as for Earl, what's his name tea? Just brew some regular tea, but make it strong. No man can taste the difference.
Oh, thank you, Bertie.
That'll be 22 cents.
Here, you got change for $1?
A dollar bill?
It's what he gives me, Bertie. Oh, goodness gracious.
I'll have to throw it back and open up the safe. The whole dollar? Such carrying on.
Howdy there, Fergus.
How do?
What's this I hear about you and Dixie?
Dunno.
I hear you two's a courting. That true?
Dunno.
Well, that's what I hear. What do you think of that?
Dunno.
There. And don't go spending any of it in Spittersville. They'll rub you blind just as soon as spit at you.
Thank you.
So, tell me, Ada, what's this like Fergus over here?
No, he talks plenty, but it's hard to figure out what he's saying sometimes. He talks real English.
Land sakes, we all talk English, don't we, Fergus?
Well, dunno.
I can't explain it. The words are different or something. He just keeps talking, and I nods my head like I understand. I reckon I just will let on how he's talking all wrong. After all, he pays me real good, and I like working for him better than when I worked for Calhoun Dick, the ornery brute.
I reckon you're right there. Nobody works for Calhoun Bick for long. Not since he come here 2 years ago.
Bertie, when you gonna fix these here doors?
When Calhoun Bick stops breaking in.
Been mending fences for Snooky Patterson all morning. Give me something to drink, Bertie.
What'll it be? Sarsaparilla?
Sounds good. Gotta get the dust out of my throat.
Sarsaparilla it is. I gotta get a fresh barrel from out back. Won't take long.
Amos, you worked for Calhoun Bick once, didn't you?
About 10 days. If it had been 11, would have killed the fella. Nastiest piece of rancher I ever seen.
I stuck it out for a whole month. I was so desperate for the money. Not that he paid none too good.
I know. Stingy just as well as me.
Must be talking about Calhoun Bick.
That's the feller.
I'm working for a nice man now, a regular gentleman.
In Wildcat Crossing, that ain't likely.
It's that British feller who took the Barlow place.
Oh, name of Melon something?
Mr. Mellonford, that's the one.
You know him, Amos?
Not to recognize, but I heard about him. Comes to reckon, I was supposed to meet him here today.
You don't say.
Slim Patterson told me this feller was looking for me, and Slim told him to be at Birdie's this afternoon.
I'll bet he's looking for a foreman. No Englishman's gonna be able to run a ranch all by himself.
Well, I don't know what he wants with me, but I got my suspicions.
Oh, you'll like Mr. Mellonford. He's real nice.
That's what makes me suspicious. What's he doing in Wildcat Crossing? And the Barlow place? Who'd buy that old broke down heap? In my mind, it just don't figure.
Amos, you never took to strangers. Ain't that right, Amos?
Well, I don't mind strangers. As long as they've been here for 10 years or so. Hey, Fergus, how long you and your mom been in these parts?
Dunno.
There he is. Now you can see for yourself what he's like. Afternoon, Mr. Mellonford.
Why, Miss Burr, what a pleasant happenstance. I see you are acquiring the provisions I requested. Jolly good.
I've been doing my best, Mr. Mellonford. I got the makings for the crumpets and the scone and that kind of tea you like, but I ain't had no luck with the gammon. Maybe it only grows in England?
Oh dear. The confusion is all my fault, I fear. I completely forgot to account for the subtle variant of the American dialect.
Huh?
I mistakenly used the word gammon, when in fact the correct pronunciation in your country is, ham.
Ham. Why didn't you say so? Hear that, Harry? It's just
You
ham.
have to go to Mike the Butcher for ham. I don't carry no meats. You know that, Ada.
Again, I apologize. The fault was all mine. You will forgive me. As Shakespeare once wrote, the fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves.
See what I mean?
Why, madam, I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Ain't have what pleasure.
How droll. I gather I don't quite make myself clear.
You can sure say that again,
Miss Burr, won't you be so kind as to introduce me to these fine folk gathered here within?
Huh? Oh, sure. This here is Barclay Melon Ford come all the way from England to run the Barlow place. And this here is Bertie Mullen.
Oh, not the same Bertie Mullen of Bertie's Soda and Supply Shack, as your establishment is so quaintly designated.
There's only one Bertie, and that's me.
Madam, I am truly enchanted.
Sure.
And this over here is Fergus Tate.
Mr. Tate, it is indeed a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I hope we shall be good friends in the future.
Well, I don't know about that.
And this here is Amos Dabb.
Mr. Dabbs, the very man I by coming to this establishment. Fortune has been kind, and we are happily met.
I heard you was looking for me.
True words, never spoken, Mr. Dabbs. Shall we be seated and partake of the local favorite? Compliments of myself, of course.
Huh?
I think he wants to buy you a drink, Amos, though I ain't completely sure.
Oh, Miss Mullen, you are as astute as ever.
Well, I don't take no drinks from strangers.
Don't be that way, Amos.
Perhaps a wise precaution, one by which I shall abide, of course. Alas, I am still a stranger to your country. The poor boy sat sighing by a sycamore tree. Shakespeare, again, of course.
I'll tell you what, mister. How's about I pay for my own drinks and you can tell me what's on your mind?
Capital suggestion. Let us be seated here. Miss Mullen, I believe I would like something cool and refreshing.
I got sarsaparilla, and I got coffee.
I believe I recall a beverage, sarsaparilla, from my remote past. I should like a glass of that.
Sure thing. One sarsaparilla, coming right up. And don't call me Miss Mullen. Sounds like my sister in Topeka. I don't like much. Call me Bertie.
I eagerly await the fruits of your hospitality, Miss Bertie.
Oh, goodness gracious. I better get myself over to Mike's before he runs out of gammon. I mean, ham.
Mr. Dabbs, I am embarking on a precarious endeavor.
Uh-huh.
Indeed, I am. Thank you. It is an agrarian adventure which offers unlimited excitement for me. But I must say I'm not without reservations. Substantial reservations, Mr. Dabbs. I enter onto this quest, if I may call it that, with a trepidation. But a trepidation commingled with sufficient confidence, strength of character.
You don't say.
I do say.
Well, I thought you was gonna set up farming at the Barlow place.
You put it very succinctly, Mr. Dabbs.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean nothing by it.
Yes. At this point, my apprehensions would be considerably allayed if I knew I had the person in whom I can place my absolute trust and fraternity. This is the point in which you enter onto the scene.
I do what now?
Mr. Dabbs, a colorful, if somewhat over-rusticated character I chanced upon by the name of Slim Patterson told me that Amos Dabbs was as competent as he was astute.
Slim said what?
Words to that effect. My rural endeavor requires a man of supervisory skills as well as agricultural savvy, and I believe in you I have found the very specimen.
Listen, mister, I don't know what you're yakking about.
I think he wants you to be foreman at his farm, Amos. Though I ain't completely sure.
Oh, Miss Bertie, you're as perceptive as ever.
Don't start fancy talking me, feller. It's Amos you gotta sell.
Foreman.
Nothing less.
Well, how many men do you aim on hiring?
That is entirely your prerogative, Mr. Dabbs.
My what?
I plan to cultivate 130 acres the first year. Then, if happenstance is favorable, escalate the production to a full 200 acres.
I don't know, mister. I got my suspicions.
Well, naturally, you'll be reticent.
Now don't go putting words in my mouth that I don't understand.
Your apprehensions are totally apropos. Undoubtedly.
There you go again.
I do realize I'm still a stranger to your locality.
You hit it on the head, mister. A stranger here in these parts.
Afternoon, Calvin. You need some provisions? Or is this a social call?
Looking for Dixie.
Well, as you can see for yourself, She ain't here.
Been looking for her all day.
Ain't that unfortunate?
You! Ting! Where's Dixie?
Well, don't know.
You acting smart with me?
No, don't know.
No. I reckon you don't know much of anything. But if you see Dixie, you tell her I'm looking for her.
Sure.
Bertie, I need some chewing tobacco.
I got the 5-cent kind and I got the deluxe 9-cent brand.
Nothing but alfalfa root and barley.
If my chewing tobacco ain't to your liking, Calhoun, why don't you go shop over in Spittersville?
Maybe I will. Ting, you remember what I said? I got something to discuss with Dixie.
Oh, boy.
Well, that was quite the colorfully rustic individual. A friend of yours?
Ain't no friend to me.
Ain't to nobody. That's Calhoun Beck. He's got a farm not too far from your place, Mr. Melanford. I'd keep your fences mended if I was you, so's nothing goes traipsing on Calhoun's land, for it'd soon shoot off its head.
I don't know what Calhoun is up to, but I sure don't like it. I better find Dixie and Warner.
Dixie can take care of herself. All the same, warning wouldn't hurt none.
King, you know where Dixie be?
Oh, I don't know.
If she ain't hunting rabbits or shooting tin cans off the Willingham fence, she's probably up at the schoolhouse to see her sister.
I reckon you're right. I'll start there.
Mr. Dabbs, I shall tarry here until we can finish our abruptly interrupted conversation regarding your employment.
Listen, Mr. Melonbottom.
Melanford, although I'm quite amiable to being referred to as Barclay,
Melanford, I don't think the two of us would work well together. I mean, I can't understand what you're saying half the time. And that ain't good on a farm or a ranch. I guess really anywhere, as far as I can tell. To be downright honest with you, I think you'd be better off going back where you came from, where they all talk like you. Now, excuse me, I better be finding Dixie.
well, that was rather discouraging. I've been informed that Mr. Dabbs was just the man I was searching for, and as gayful happenstance would have it, was currently seeking employment.
Amos here's a good feller, all right, but he's got his suspicions and can be stubborn as they come.
I would be willing to overlook any personal idiosyncrasies on his part.
Any what? There's your problem, Mr. Melanford. That England talking is gonna scare away every cowhand and farmer in this territory. Ada done told me talking usual like, but she didn't say the half of it.
Oh dear. You know, Miss Birdie, I think I would like to try some of that coffee now.
Sure thing, Mr. Melanford.
And another request.
Chewing tobacco? I got the 5-cent
No. Thank you. Would you mind calling me Barclay?
Sure, I'll call you anything you like. Here, drink this down. You'll feel better.
Thank you. And Mr. Tink, would you mind calling me Barclay?
Well, I don't know about that.
It would mean a great deal to me.
Well, if you call me Fergus.
Certainly. To Miss Birdie and to Fergus, my only friends in the new world. And in the old world, too.
You gotta gulp it down, Barclay, or else it rots your teeth.
All right, of course.
Good stuff, ain't it?
Nothing quite like back in England.
So, what brings you to these new parts, Mr. Barclay? And why'd you buy the Barlow place?
I didn't buy it. I inherited it.
You related to old man Barlow?
A second cousin on my mother's side.
Now, who'd have thought? Old man Barlow's got kinfolk back in merry old England.
I never knew him, of course. Was he a very nice man?
Not by a mile. He hated everyone, and everyone hated him, so it worked out fine.
Yes. I don't think he was on very good terms with my family back in Dorset either. In fact, I think he left me the farm in his will to upset my cousin Wilfred.
Barlow place ain't much now, but I reckon it can be turned into something worthwhile with the right foreman.
I don't see how. No one will work for me. Mr. Dabbs was the third person to turn me down.
That's a darn shame.
Yes, and why? Because I talk like an idiot.
No. You don't. Looney McGuire over at the livery stable? No, he talks like an idiot. You just talk like, well, it's sort of
Yes, like what? Like what?
different like. Maybe folks will get used to you in time, Barclay.
Yes. I should have moved to Australia, as my Uncle Gerald suggested.
Don't know much about Australia. Do they talk like you there?
Probably not. It makes no difference. I spent most of my money coming here. And here's where I'll stay. You know, Miss Birdie, that drink doesn't taste quite as repulsive after a few moments. Could I bother you for another?
Sure thing, Barclay. And this one's on the house.
Oh no, I could not take advantage of your heartfelt hospitality in such a way.
There you go again. Fancy talking. When there ain't none needed. Just say, sure thing, Birdie. Or, nothing doing, Birdie. See?
Nothing doing, Bertie.
Not bad. Maybe you can be taught how to talk raglog with the right teacher.
You think so?
Buzzards and buffaloes. It's getting hot enough out there so I can fry this rabbit on myself. Birdie, get me glass of that sarsaparilla.
Sure thing, Dixie.
Fergus, you sitting there all so calm like I didn't take any notice. How you doing, Fergus?
Don't know.
Ain't he something, Birdie? You don't know. Well, Fergus, to my mind, you look like you're doing just fine. What are you drinking there?
Sarsaparilla.
Well, maybe I could join you then. What do you think of that?
Well, don't know.
You was something special, Fergus. You know that?
Well, no.
It's nice and cool. I just opened a fresh barrel a while ago.
Thank you.
Oh, Calhoun.
What's that, Fergus?
Calhoun Bick.
What about the mangy varmint?
Oh, looking for you.
Don't say.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Calhoun come in here wanting to know where you used to be. Something's got his hackles up. Don't know what.
Well, let him come looking for me. I don't go traipsing after no skunk. Hey, Fergus, how about you and me going over to the dance in Spittlesville tomorrow night? Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, I just don't know.
I'm Tim. It'll be a heap of fun. Alright?
Oh, all right.
That's fine then. Buzzards and buffaloes, I might even put on a dress. What do you say to that, Fergus?
Don't know.
You said it. Well, who we got here?
This here is Barclay Mellenford. He done come all the way from Europe.
Well, I'm your cousin. Nice to meet you.
Yes. The pleasure is unquestionably mine.
Huh?
Mighty pleased to make your acquaintance.
Europe, huh? Any special part?
Well, Great Britain to be precise.
Don't say. What's so great about it?
Well,
I'm just joshing you. Imagine putting the word great in a country's name. Takes a lot of gall, I say. What you doing in these here parts, Mr. Barker Mellenford?
Well, I've actually immigrated to this wondrous land of yours. I'm a farmer.
Buzzards and buffaloes. If you're a farmer, then I must be the Duchess of Salisbury steak.
Yes, you are something of a frontier witness, Klein.
Call me Dixie. Now, fess it. You ain't really no farmer, are you?
I'm quite serious. At least I have strong intentions of pursuing agricultural vocations. However, at the moment, my efforts are proving to be less than fortuitous.
Huh?
Barclay here inherited the Barlow place, and he wants to get it going again.
The Barlow place? That's gonna take a heap of doing. Got yourself a good foreman?
I'm afraid you've come to the very crux of my difficulty, Miss Klein. I was just speaking to
Dixie Klein, I have a bone to pick with you. I've heard an old complaint, but an annoying one, all the same. Is it true you—
Hold on there, Lottie. Can't you see I'm talking with this here gentleman?
What?
Mr. Barclay Melanford, this here is my elder sister, Lottie.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Lottie.
Actually, it's Charlotte.
Charlotte. Charlotte, Lottie. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet.
Huh?
Shakespeare.
Who else?
It is true, Mr. Mountford, that I am Dixie's elder sister. I'm not that much older. You understand.
Oh, perfectly. You know, I'm glad you've made the distinction. I may have mistaken you for twins.
So, tell me, Lottie, what are you so riled up about today? You come in here like a wet hen a second ago.
I do not wish to bore others with our little domestic differences. Funny, seems you come in here most days doing just that. I'm sure Mr. Mountford—
Oh, please, call me Barclay.
if you insist, As I was saying, I do not believe Barclay can be bothered with our little sibling squabbles.
You was fuming like a coffee pot a minute ago. Out with it.
Well, is it true you took little Percy Green hunting rabbits with you yesterday?
Well,
Depends. He was absent from school yesterday, and today he said something to the effect of having been homesick with malaria. Of course, I questioned him, and he had no idea what malaria was. He finally confessed that you urged him to play hooky and go hunting.
that Percy Green is a bright kid. I just wished he was a better liar.
Disgraceful! My own sister undermining my efforts to bring an inkling of education and culture to this town.
Wildcat Carlson don't want your culture or your learning.
Oh, Mr. Barclay, you see what I'm up against?
I did gather you have the unenviable task of enlightening the youth of the community. Rudiments of learning?
Huh?
Yep, she's a schoolmarm, all right.
The whining schoolboy with his satchel and shiny morning face creepeth like snail, unwilling to school.
Never spoken, Barclay. Shakespeare, you know.
Get out of here before I spit in your eye.
Dixie, you know. Fine, we will continue this discussion at home, dear sister. So pleased to have met you, Barclay. I hope our paths may cross again before long.
Oh, thinkest we should meet again?
I doubt it not. In all these woes shall serve sweet discourse in our time together. Finally, a gentleman has come to Wildcat Crossing.
Well, what do you think of that?
Dunno.
I ain't seen Lottie so la-dee-da and sweet talking since she was courting that large wire salesman from Kansas City. Didn't come to nothing though.
Miss Charlotte is not romantically inclined.
She's an old maid, if that's what you mean.
And as for your own marital status, Miss Dixie?
Huh?
He wants to know if you're hitched.
Me? Buzzards and buffaloes, I'm as free as the wind and aiming to stay that way. Unless you start sweet talking, Fergus. Then where would I be?
Well, dunno.
You said. What about your own stats, Mr. Barker Melanford? You got any lady folk chasing after you?
Not quite.
Well, stick around here and you'll soon be right for the plucking. Ain't that right, Bert?
Any bachelor who ain't too bow-legged don't stand a chance of staying single in these parts.
Lead me not to the marriage of truer minds, admit impediments.
Anybody ever tell you before that you got a bad habit of slipping into poetry talk for no good reason?
I suppose it's one of my many idiosyncratic personality traits that keep me ever on the fringe of the local populace.
And you got a funny way of talking even when you ain't spouting poetry.
afraid it's my undoing, Miss Dixie.
Now, my sister Lottie may kind do that kind of talk, but most everyone else in this territory won't take kindly to it.
Yes, so I've noticed, to my great disappointment. Unfortunately, I was educated in Winchester and Cambridge, and I'm now cursed with this blasted speech impediment. Perhaps I could be taught.
Dixie, been looking for you. You know Calhoun's after you?
Fergus here done told me already. Didn't you, chatterbox you?
He's mighty upset about something. Don't know what though.
It don't worry me none. Now, here's a fella you ought to know, Barclay. Amos Dix, best range foreman in these here parts.
Yes, we have already been introduced, to the advantage of neither of us, I'm afraid.
Can't understand what the man says half the time. Now what you gonna do about Calhoun, Dixie?
Nothing. As for Barclay here, I know he lets us talk it too fancy at times. But shucks, it ain't his fault. He grew up in a place where they don't know no better.
Yes, Miss Dixie apprehends difficulty with accuracy. You see, it is more a matter of nurture than that of nature, don't you think?
Uh-huh. You see what I mean?
I can't make it work for the man, Amos, but I know you're making a big mistake. The Barlow place could be spruced up something special with the right foreman, and you know it.
I think Barclay here just needs a little help with his talking. He seems to be a bright feller and can get to speaking regular with a little learning.
Who's gonna teach him? Fergus here? Hey, Fergus, you think you can teach the slimy how to talk good?
Well, don't know.
Fergus here, I beg I'm talking to self. Are you Fergus?
Well, don't know.
Shucks, I can run the mouth as good as anyone, I reckon. Maybe I could teach Barclay here a thing or two about good American talking.
Would you, Miss Dixie?
Can't be done. The feller said 2 words. 3 of them don't make no sense.
Amos, Dad, you stubborn rattlesnake. Just because Barclay here is a stranger to these parts, you think he can't know nothing? You're so set in your ways, you wouldn't trust him like he Lafayette if he walked in here and started talking French.
Now don't you get uppity with me, Dixie Clyde.
Pigheaded and too stubborn to coming out of the rain.
Just 'cause you can shoot good, you think you know everything. Shooting and thinking is 2 different things, and you don't score so good on the one of them.
You calling me dumb?
Let's just say you can't teach nobody nothing unless it's got to do with the rifle.
I can run this fella to talk better than you.
Can't be done. What do you think, Barclay?
It's all a matter of opinion, but perhaps we're being a bit hasty with this, don't you think?
I want to make a bet on it. I'm betting $20 that he can speak at next Grange Hall meeting. Hey, Bertie, when is that, by the way?
$20? 20?
When's the next Grange Hall meeting?
I'm sorry.
Bertie.
Next month, the 14th, I recall.
At the next Grange meeting, Barclay here is going to stand up in front of all the farmers and ranchers in the territory, and is going to make a civil speech to them in good American talk.
I don't think that would be a
He'll
prodigious
talk
idea.
all right, but they won't know a darn thing he's saying.
I'm still betting $20 they will.
Shake on it then.
Miss Dixie, I think your faith in me is a bit premature.
$20 says he stands up at the Grange Hall meeting and makes a fool of himself.
I says he'll talk to them fellas so good they'll want to run him for mayor.
Oh, goodness, I didn't mean to start anything.
Goodness gracious sakes alive! Wish you could have seen Mike's face when I asked him for gammon. He says, I don't sell no gammon. I says, sure you do, Mike. What kind of butcher are ya? What's gammon? Ham. That's right. Mr. Mellon Ford done taught me that word.
Ham? The feller don't even know the right word for ham. This'll be the easiest $20 I ever made.
change your mind about my chewing tobacco?
Dixie Klein, I've been looking for you.
Fergus done sold me. Now you found me. What are you gonna do about it?
You've been hunting on my land again.
Well, you're wrong again. I wouldn't set foot on that crabgrass collection you call a farm if I heard a buffalo was chasing me.
Oh yeah? What do you call this?
That there is a rabbit, Captain Bit. I didn't know you was that dumb.
That comes from my land.
If it did, it would be all shriveled up and puny. I shot that critter where I always does, over on the Baldwin property.
Trespassing on land owned by the bank. You could get in a heap of trouble for doing that, Dixie Klein.
I weren't trespassing, and it ain't owned by the bank no more.
What'd you do? Go and buy it? You don't have enough money to buy a sarsaparilla, no less than a farm.
Actually, I bought it. That is, I own it. The Barlow farm. It's mine. And I've given Miss Dixie permission to hunt there whenever she pleases. Who are you? Barclay Mellonford, at your service. So please make your acquaintance, Mr.
Is this true?
Yes.
Of course it is. Don't you know what goes on around here? Barclay now owns the Barlow place, and Amos here's his new foreman.
We'll see about that after the 14th of next month.
That Barlow land comes right up next to mine. You make sure you don't cross that line. I'm the only one doing the hunting on my land.
Then the rabbits will feel better knowing that, Calhoun. The way you shoot, they's got nothing to worry about.
Tink, next time you see Dixie Klein, you tell her to be careful. I don't like her attitude.
Oh boy.
Goodness gracious!
What an unfavorable character, that Mr. Big.
Calhoun is all bluster. But one of these days, Dixie, you're gonna go too far with him.
That weasel don't scare me.
Sometimes you shoot off your mouth more than your gun.
Mr. Dabbs, did you mean what you said about coming to work for me?
We'll see about that after the 14th of next month. But by then, of course, I'll be $20 richer, and I'll probably want to take it easy for a spell. Afternoon, all.
I'd best be getting myself and put this here hammer on ice. Wish you could have seen Mike's face when I informed him he'd been selling gammon all his life and didn't even know it.
Miss Dixie, I'm so sorry to have gotten you entangled in this bet. Perhaps if I spoke to Mr. Dabbs, he would call the whole wager off.
Nothing doing. I said I was going to fix up the talking, and I'm meaning to do it. Start right this minute.
Excellent. Once more upon the breach, dear friends, or stack up the wall with our English dead.
There you go, game. Was that poetry?
Or Shakespeare, Henry V.
I don't care if it was Napoleon V. It's got to stop.
Oh, well, of course.
Bertie, you got a bucket in the back there?
I believe I do.
Good. Fetch me that bucket.
Whatever for.
You do as I say. I'll show you soon enough. Now, you listen to me, Mr. Barclay Mellonford, and you listen good. This poetry fountain is going to stop. And I had to do it, too.
Whatever you say, Miss Dixie, I'm entirely at your disposal.
I'm collecting that $20 from me in the stacks. And you're going to help me by doing whatever I tell you.
Certainly.
Here it is. Kind of rusted up a bit, but it hasn't been used. Well, except for spittoon once or maybe twice.
It'll do. Now, Barclay, you got a nickel?
Oh, I believe so. One moment. Bear with me. Ah, yes. Here's one.
Fine. Every time you quote from that Shakespeare fella, you gotta put a nickel in the bucket. That there particular nickel's to pay for your speech about the breach and such. You understand?
I believe I'm beginning to, yes.
Who gets to keep the nickels, Dixie?
I'll split them all with Bertie if you help me out. If I ain't around and you hear one line of poetry come out of Barclay's mouth, you see that he puts a nickel in the bucket.
Sure thing, Dixie. Shucks, the way poetry comes spilling out of his mouth, we might both earn ourselves more than $20 each.
Yes, these are rather harsh conditions, Miss Dixie. But desperate times call for desperate measures. What?
Was that poetry?
No, on my honor, it wasn't.
Well, best play it safe and skip anything to talk at all. That way, we can be sure.
Very astute. I mean, good idea.
You still got our work cut out for us, Barclay. You just picked up so many bad habits growing up in England that it's going to be like busting a bronco to get you to behave.
I do apologize.
You can't help it, but I'm going to bust you all the same.
Yes, I would expect nothing less.
Good. Now the first thing I want to do is give you a little test, just so I can see what I got to do. All right?
Okay?
I want you to go up to that bar and order yourself a drink from Birdie.
Just go up to the bar and order a drink.
That's right.
Well, should be easy enough. Good afternoon, Miss Birdie. Lovely day we're having, isn't it? Quite clement, I must say.
Hold it right there. What incarnation are you doing?
Being pleasant?
You want a drink. You don't need no weather report.
Well, we're making convenient small talk. I didn't think that's...
There ain't no such thing as small talk in this territory. You either make big talk or you shut up.
Ah, well, you're
Try
right.
again.
Miss Birdie, I would very much like a drink.
Very much like a drink? She don't need to know how much or very or nothing else. Just tell her you want a drink.
Miss Birdie, I would like a drink.
No, say, give me a drink.
Isn't that rather rude?
Maybe, but it's what folks say.
Yes, well, I don't want to appear unfriendly.
If you want to be friendly, then say, give me a drink, Birdie.
And if you want to be really friendly, put down your money and say keep the change.
Now tell her what you want to drink.
I got sarsaparilla and I got coffee.
What a delectable selection. I must ponder the possibilities. The root of the sarsaparilla plant is quite delicious and somewhat medicinal, I understand. While on the other hand, a dram of the more powerful potion has its own restorative properties and ought not be underestimated. I'm quite a quandary, Miss Birdie. Perhaps you could guide me in making the most advantageous decision.
Something tells me I'm gonna lose this bet. Out of my way, Birdie. There he is. Stop pushing me from behind. I told you he'd be here. As I'm afraid he'd hurt me. Oh, you can say that again. Will you get out of my way? Good afternoon, Birdie. Out come shopping.
I guess that's Sally Tremaine, and I knows what you come shopping for too.
I'm sure I got no idea what you're talking about.
I was wondering what took you so long. Last time a new fella was in town, you was able to sniff him out in only a few hours.
I come here to buy a few provisions, and if that ain't reason for me to be here, I don't know what is.
Sure.
Well, we need a few things ourselves, don't we, sisters?
We do?
Of course we do.
Always pleased to do business with you gals.
But perhaps we're interrupting something. I see you have 2 customers already. I can wait my turn.
Sure, we can wait too. Can't we, Prudy?
Wait for what?
I'll wait all day for that one.
I reckon I ought to introduce you guys to Mr. Melanford here.
That would be polite, Birdie.
Sure would be. Unless you gals are in too much of a hurry and would want to be on your way.
No! No hurry at all. Oh, Birdie, stop toying with them chickens and get on with it. They ain't gonna go till they get their apple of Barclay there.
I reckon you're right there, Dixie.
Lane sakes, let me do it. This here's Mr. Briar from Melanford, who's got the Barlow place now.
Why, I had no inkling someone bought the Barlow place. Me neither.
Well, luckily you gals just happened to be passing by.
Very lucky.
But I thought you said you
Shush!
Miss Birdie, I'm in quite a state of suspense. I'm won't you be so kind as to introduce me to these, lovely ladies?
Let me do it. This here gaggle of geese is the Greensboro sisters. You got Prudy
Pleased to meet you, Miss Annalford.
and Marty, Tickle Pink, Mr. Melonford, and the youngest Bud. As Olive Green.
Bud? What an extraordinary name.
It's really Rosebud.
But everybody calls her Bud.
See, after Pa had 2 girls, he was really hankering for a boy, so he starts to call me Bud, and it's been Bud ever since.
Oh, what a delightful story. All I can say is what the poet once wrote. Deny thy father and refuse thy name.
In the bucket.
Last. Not you, Miss Budd. You see, it's Shakespeare. His words will hoist me, as they say, on my own petard.
In the bucket.
Right.
Ain't you forgetting something, Dixie Klein? What's that, Sally Tremaine?
Dear madam, I don't think we've been properly introduced. You see, my recitations, which are growing more and more expensive, have quite distracted me from your lovely presence.
I got this one. This here is Sally Tremaine. She ain't married yet, which she'll tell you every single hour, like clockwork, just in case you forget.
Oh, Bertie, you can be so funny sometimes.
Well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Tremaine.
Please call me Sally, because we're going to be real good friends.
Yes, I do hope so.
Bertie said that about me because, well, strangers who come to this town are often surprised to find that such a fetching person as myself is not yet married.
Yes, no, I'm surprised.
You'll ain't too nice to say so. I thought you hens came to shop.
Yeah. What can I get you gals?
Oh dear. Looks like I won't forgot my shopping list at home.
Ain't that something? I can't find mine nowhere neither.
What shopping list? I thought we were coming here to get a
Well, I guess we
Already, as Olive Green, come along.
Nice meeting you, Miss Melford.
Welcome to our cat cross.
And since you ain't buying nothing either, Sally Tremaine, I reckon it's time for you to skedaddle too.
I do have a few calls to make since I'm in town. Good afternoon, Mr. Melford. Parton is such sweet sorrow, ain't it not?
Charmed to have made your acquaintance, Miss Tremaine.
Sally, please.
Miss Sally, then.
Let's not be strangers no more. See you around.
That there, Barclay, is the town flirt. In case you haven't guessed it yet.
Just a high-spirited young female, I imagine.
If her spirits weren't any higher, she'd be a vulture.
Now, Barclay, you can go fancy talking to Sally Tremaine and my sister Lottie and them Kathleen Greensboro sisters and the left up like molasses. But it ain't gonna help you to talk regular to the men folk of this county who you want to impress.
Yes, which is why I'm going to be a most diligent student, apprehend all your instructions, persevere with fortitude, and win all the glittering prizes.
Huh? What prizes?
Just a metaphor, nothing more.
What's a metaphor?
I know this one. A meadows for cows and such.
Right. Droll as ever, Miss Birdie. A metaphor is a simple poetic device, nothing more.
In the bucket.
But glittering prizes in Shakespeare.
I don't care. It's poetry, and you gotta stop doing it. In the bucket.
Yeah, very well. You know, I would offer to pay you for these lessons, but it appears I already am.
I sure got my work cut out for me. I can see now that not only do I gotta teach you to talk right, but I'm gonna have to learn you the ways of the West.
I see. You mean decorum, of course.
Huh?
Decorum, the ways of the world. Your world, that is.
I reckon that's what I mean. But I sure get tired of you putting fancy words in my mouth.
Yes, well, I'm entirely at your disposal, Miss Dixie. My schedule is wide open.
Your what is what?
We don't follow you, Barclay. What's a schedule?
Schedule? Oh, well, my diary, my appointment book, my calendar, schedule.
You mean a schedule?
Well, I suppose that's what I mean, yes.
All sorts of buffaloes. Where's my rabbit?
Hanging on my counter.
You're not leaving, are you, Miss Dixie?
I'm getting out of here before I say or do something I'll be sorry for.
But you're not giving up on me, surely.
Barclay, I can wrestle me a mad dog to the ground. But right now, I ain't got the strength for normal learning yet. We'll give it another try tomorrow.
Don't be discouraged, Miss Dixie.
I ain't discouraged. But I figured if I shoot you dead right now, I ain't got a chance of winning that bet. So let's just say goodbye till tomorrow.
Of course, I understand.
Good. Till tomorrow then. Farewell and all that. Heart and such sweet sorrow.
Excuse me, in the bucket. That was poetry.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2.
Well, I'll be counts, cause half an hour after I meet this fella, I'll quote Shakespeare for the first time, and I'm out a whole nickel. Schedule.
Well, what do you think of that?
Oh, don't know.
But I heard he was here.
I know when it was heard.
I heard he was on your ring for today.
I know when I heard that too.
As I live and breathe, where can he be, Bertie? I ain't Mr. Melanford's secretary, and I ain't his mom. He's old enough to come and go as he pleases.
But we don't care where he's been. We want to know where he's gone.
Well, what do you want him for?
Well,
As I live and breathe, we just want to wish him good luck at the Grand Hall meeting tonight.
that's right.
Albert Mr. Melanford would be mighty pleased to hear that. I'll tell him when he comes in.
But we want to tell him ourselves.
Yeah. Well, send him a telegram. Now, unless you was buying something, you all skedaddle.
Goodness gracious sakes alive. Bertie, you got any boot grease?
Of course I have. But what do you want with boot grease?
Mr. Melanford is wearing his new boots tonight, and they is as stiff as a rock.
Ada, where is he?
Mr. Melanford?
Well,
He's down at the barber shop getting himself a haircut and a shave.
Barbershop. Why didn't we think of that?
let's go.
This here grease ought to work. Use it on the water pump. It's good for boots too. Cost you 40 cents.
Thank you, Bertie.
Those Greensboro sisters. Sometimes I wish I was a rattlesnake and they'd go running when I comes too close.
I know what you mean, Bertie. This town ain't got but 2 or 3 real women. All's the rest is cats and chickens.
Real women, huh? Meaning you?
And Barclay Melanford knows a real woman when he sees one.
Oh, he's seeing you all right. Poor fella can't come into town without running up against you at every street corner.
All coincidences. Happy coincidences.
I'll bet.
Of course, I don't get to spend as much time with Barclay as I'd like.
You ain't the only one. Those Greensboro sisters been coming into town like raglar ever since Barclay come here. You want us to ask Grilly or something?
I reckon Dixie Klein ain't having no trouble seeing Barclay. They've been together plenty.
That's 'cause of this here bet. She's learning Barclay how to talk like a raglar feller so people can understand him.
I ain't got no trouble understanding him. I like fancy talk.
Well, the men folk don't. And tonight, he's gonna stand up at the Grange Hall meeting to show people he can talk okay.
Such a silly bet, as if Dixie Klein could teach you how to go moo.
You know Dixie. She's stubborn, but she ain't let up on him the past 4 weeks.
How are the lessons coming along?
Well, some days he sounds pretty close to normal. Well, then other days he forgets and starts out with the poetry.
I reckon Dixie and Barkley must be getting kind of chummy, spending all that time together.
What are you hinting at, Sally Tremaine?
Nothing?
You're just busting the guts to ask me if there ain't something between them two, ain't ya?
Well, things can happen, you know, between a handsome fellow like Barkley and even a ruffian like Dixie.
Truth be told, they're at each other's throats most of the time. She strangles him, and he takes it. But I swear, he's fuming inside like a pressure cooker. And if that's your idea of romance, then they's regular lovebirds.
Just what I thought. I knew Barkley Mellenford could tell the difference between a real woman and a sharpshooting coyote.
Now, don't go bad-mouthing Dixie on me. At least she knows shameless flirt who likes every single guy.
If you got something to do with, you got a customer.
What can I do for you, Fergus?
All needs more medicine.
For her indigestion? I sold you a bottle 2 days ago.
Well, Cass got to it, ate it all up.
I warned you that I like that stuff. You're in luck. I got 1 bottle left for 20 cents, but I'll give it to you for a dime for your troubles.
Oh, thank you.
I reckon Barkley ain't stopping in, so how best be on my way.
What do you want Barkley for, if you don't mind me asking?
I got me this purty new dress to wear to the Grange Hall meeting, and I don't want to take Pa's horse. Was hoping I might ride with Barkley. He is renting a rig.
He is, but it's for him and Dixie.
Oh,
And I don't expect they was planning on taking any passengers.
I reckon not. And here I am in this new dress. It's enough to make a gal spit.
Well, use the spittoon if you got it.
Good got rig.
What's that, Fergus?
Well, got me a rig. Belongs to Jake Potter, but he don't need it.
Say you got yourself a rig, Fergus. Was you planning on going to the Grange Hall meeting?
Well, dunno.
Well, I know, Fergus. You're going to that meeting, you're going to be riding next to the finest lady in all Wildcat Crossing. What do you think of that?
Dunno.
Come along, Fergus. This is your lucky night. So long, Birdie.
Well, what do you think of that? She'll eat him up alive. That's what I think. Won't be nothing left but his hat. And look, he forgot Mom's medicine. I declare. Barkley?
Give me a drink, Birdie.
What do it be? Sarsaparilla?
Yep, keep change.
Thank you. You new in these here parts, mister?
Maybe. What's it to you?
Just wondering.
Well, man, you just keep on wondering.
We don't get many strangers in here, Barkley.
That's so.
You okay here, Barkley?
You call that raw gut sarsaparilla?
It's the best brand I got.
Well, it ain't good enough for me. When I order a drink, I expect it to burn up my insides, but else it ain't no good.
Well, maybe you're just too tough for the likes of this town, mister.
You know what? Maybe I am. And again, maybe I'm not. Maybe I... Dude, I can't tolerate this. right indoors. It isn't done. It just isn't done.
And you was doing so good. Dixie would have been proud of you.
I doubt that very much. Nothing seems to be good enough for her. I try my very best, and yet she insists on berating my efforts. All she cares about is her bet, her $20. Put money in thy purse. Shakespeare said it right. Look, last. You know, it was worth it to say it, and I've been scolded by her. She's everywhere.
Poor Barclay. You've had a time of it, ain't you?
Don't worry about me. I'll be successful, I guarantee it. I'll win her that bet, and her $20, and then I'll...
And then what?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, Bertie.
Well, once everybody knows you can talk okay, you'll have no trouble getting workers for your farm.
Yes, I suppose so.
Ain't that what you want?
I don't know what I want. That's not true. I want to be me, myself, Barclay Millenford, not some kind of pioneer phony.
Bertie, sit really. Put your hat on. How many times am I gonna tell you?
He had his hat on. He came in here and ordered a drink and everything. He kept his hat on the whole time, I tell you.
Then what was it doing there on the bar?
I asked him to take it off. I wanted to see what a good job we'd done over at the barber shop.
Well, now you see. Put it back on.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
I done changed my mind, Barclay. I ain't gonna go get the meat. I'll just take my horse.
But I've gone and rented a rig.
I know you did, but I don't feel like riding no rig. So I told Lottie she could ride with me. She got herself hurried up and she don't want to sit on no horse.
I see.
Now don't you go fancy talking with Lottie on the way over to that Grange Hall. I know the way you two like to talk. La-dee-da, when I ain't around. You gotta concentrate. You know what I mean?
I believe I do, yes.
You gotta get yourself thinking the right way before you go into that meeting hall.
Don't worry, ma'am. I'll concentrate. I'll win you your bet.
It ain't just a bet, Barclay.
There's $20 at stake. I reckon I understand that.
Don't think of it that way. This is your big chance. You show them farmers and ranchers you're just like them. When they start talking wheat prices, you say them things I've told you to.
But how can you be so certain they'll talk about wheat prices?
Because that's all they do in them meetings. That and the cost of hay. You gotta take my word for it.
Yes, ma'am. Wheat and hay. I hear you.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting, Barclay.
Oh, well, Miss Charlotte, I understand I'm to accompany you to the Grange Hall this evening. What an unexpected pleasure.
Oh, Barclay, the pleasure's all mine. I assure you.
Here they go. See, Barclay? This is just what I was talking about.
I beg your pardon, Miss Dixie. Shucks, man. I'm just tickled pink to see it, and I'm just jumping for joy knowing I get to tramp along with you this evening.
Very fun. Now, Lottie, I don't want you and Barclay talking poetry and fancy books and such. He needs to set his mind to what I learned him.
I promise to only talk about wheat and hay, Miss Dixie. How does that sound to you, Miss Charlotte?
Simply dreadful.
Enough of this yakking. You two best get going. It's 5 miles to that Grange Hall, and that rig won't go so fast as you think.
We had better get a move on, Miss Charlotte.
Yes, we shall see you there, shall we not, Dixie?
I'll be there, all right.
Of course you will. There's $20 at stake. Evening, Bertie.
You show him, Barclay. I know you can do it.
Thank you, ma'am. Come on, Miss Charlotte. That rig is just raring to go.
Barclay?
Ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
So, you nervous about tonight, Dixie?
I reckon I ought to be, but I ain't.
No need to be nervous. Barclay will do just fine.
I reckon so.
You done your best. Barclay won't disappoint you none.
No. All the same.
What's that?
Funny thing, Bertie. gonna make you laugh.
Well, what is it?
I want him back.
Huh?
I want him back to the way he was. Ain't that a howler?
So, you love the feller?
Does it show?
Not to him, that's for sure.
I liked him a lot from the very first. Didn't want to let on, of course. And what did I do? I went and changed him. Tried to make him something he ain't. And now I'm sure he hates me for it.
I don't know about that, but you have been pretty rough on him the past 4 weeks.
I know. I was afraid he'd catch on that I liked him. So I treated him something awful. But the more and more I learned him to talk regular, the more I missed the fella who first walked into this store a month ago.
You surprised me, Dixie Klein. You didn't seem like the type of gal to get struck by lightning.
I surprised myself. Didn't know what hit me. But what have I done about it? Gone and ruined him. Hassled him till he hates me.
I don't know if that's true.
You done seen it for yourself. The feller can't wait to be rid of me. My guess is, after tonight, he will never speak to me again. And that is a terrible thought, Bertie. Terrible through and through. I told you it was funny. What fools these mortals be. Shakespeare. He done said it best. I can't tell you how good it is to work for a regular gentleman like Mr. Melliford. He talks just so polite and says, please, and thank you. And especially, lovely. Everything is lovely. I declare, I tell him the toast is ready and he says, lovely. If I told him the barn was on fire, he'd say, lovely. No wonder them British have such good manners.
Well, I hope for Barclay's sake, he forgot some manners tonight and talked like a regular feller.
I wonder how it went.
Me too.
They should be back by now, don't you think?
It's been hours.
Maybe they all went home.
No, they always come here. You'll see.
I wonder if I can make something special for Mr. Melliford, since he's so nice to me. I wonder, how do you make an English muffin? I bet he'd like that.
Same as a regular muffin, I reckon. Just made with England flour.
Where am I gonna get England flour in Wildcat Crossing?
Not in this store, that's for sure. Amos.
I'd like me a sarsaparilla, but I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it.
You lost your bet?
Sure did.
Then this one's on the house.
Goodness gracious! Tell us what happened, Amos.
Well, there ain't much to tell.
Did Barclay stand up and talk like he was supposed to?
Oh, he talked all right. Talked up a storm. All about wheat prices and the cost of hay and such.
And did they understand him?
They understood him real good. Started asking him questions about land rights and crop rotations. They understood him all real good. It made a lot of sense, actually.
Good for you, Barclay.
Matter of fact, when he got done talking, they all applauded him like it was some kind of saloon show. And then Some of them fellas went up and asked him to run for mayor.
Mayor! Oh, goodness gracious!
Sounds like a downright drown. Here, Amos, want some more?
Don't mind if I do.
Over here. I feel like celebrating myself, Bertie. I think I'm gonna buy one myself.
Sure thing. Are the rest of them coming here, Amos?
I can't say. I left as soon as I lost the bet. Where am I gonna come up with $20, Bertie?
Simple. You tell Bob you'll work for him. If you'll still have it, that is.
I reckon I can do that.
Oh, you'll like working for Mr. Mellonford. He's real nice.
Nice. But what's that got to do with farming?
Amos Stubbs, you stop being so doggone stubborn. Barclay Mellonford ain't no fool when it comes to farming. He done told me he growed up in a farm in a place called Dorset. A real farm with crops and cattle raising and horse breeding and everything.
Well, then why didn't he just stay there?
Well, it weren't his farm to keep. Belonged to some relatives. So instead, he got himself all educated and such. But he always loved farming. Then he inherited the Barlow place, and he come here.
Well, he did make a lot of sense at that meeting tonight.
Of course he did. If I was you, I'd waste no time on asking Barclay to take you on.
Maybe.
Dixie, where's Mr. Mellonford?
I thought he'd come here.
Ain't seen no sign of him yet. Amos here done told us Barclay done real good tonight.
Huh? Oh yeah, he come through like he was born in these parts. But where can he be?
Didn't he ride back with Lottie?
No, they had a fight. That is, well, we had a fight.
What happened?
After Barclay was done talking and the meeting broke up, Lottie comes to me all red in the face and yelping how I ruined a good man making him talk like that. Kinda got riled and told her off, saying that before I learned him how to talk good, he weren't fit for nobody but stuck-up folk like her.
I declare.
I didn't have to mean it, I reckon. But Lottie can sure get Mac Dando out.
Well, what did Barclay say?
That's the bad part. I got mad at him too and told him he ought to go and marry Lottie. And the two of them can talk poetry to each other till they was blue in the face.
Goodness gracious.
Then Barclay said he weren't marrying no one, and I should keep my mouth shut, 'cause I won the bet, and that's all I cares about. Then Lottie gets mad 'cause what Barclay said about not marrying no one, and she went off with the Parkers, who had a wagon. And Barclay says I can take the rig back by myself, since now I got $20, I can afford to buy a rig. Then he run off. It's the last I've seen him.
Such doings.
About that $20, Dixie.
Don't you worry yourself about that, Amos.
Oh, I'm aiming to pay you every cent. You just have to wait a spell, that's all.
Amos says he'll work for Barclay now.
Well, that's right nice, Amos. I'm glad to hear it.
Fergus, Tink, you stop teasing me right this very minute. I ain't never seen such a feller.
Fergus, what have you done now?
Don't know.
Bertie, bring you two sarsaparillas.
Sure thing.
Fergus, you look different or something. What's with you?
Well, don't know.
2 sarsaparillas. So, what's come over you, Fergus?
Don't know.
Well, something's come over you.
Well, Bertie, I never used to know why Daisy Klein was so fond of Fergus for so long, but now I got an inkling why. He is, let's just say he ain't the same in rigs he is the rest of the time.
Fergus?
He actually talks, says the sweetest things.
Well, I declare. Was it the meeting that done this to him?
Land sakes, he done talked so much we missed the turnoff and got ourselves plumb lost. Never even made that meeting Did we, Fergus?
Not at all, ma'am.
Now, Fergus, what did I tell you before?
Dunno.
Fergus,
I mean, not at all, Sally.
that's better. Mr. Melliford!
I hear congratulations are in order.
I reckon they are. You done good tonight, Mr. Melliford.
I'm very sorry about your bet, Mr. Dabbs.
Oh, think nothing of it.
It was all because of me that you lost that $20. I must insist on equitable restitution.
Huh?
I think he wants to pay you the $20, Amos.
Oh, I can't allow that, but I tell you what. You can go ahead and take it from my first month's salary and just give it to Dixie.
You mean that
You're looking at your new foreman, if you'll have me.
Indeed, I will have you. Those are the buffaloes, everyone. You hear that? I know.
Well, I declare.
Goodness gracious!
6 a.m. tomorrow morning, all right?
Sounds perfect. You hear that, Miss Burr? Gammon and crumpets at 6 a.m. from me and my new foreman.
Sure thing, Mr. Melliford.
What's that?
Ham and biscuits, Amos. Don't fret.
All right.
And to celebrate Mr. Melliford's success at the meeting tonight, and Amos here at his new job, everybody gets a free drink.
Goodness gracious!
Miss Dixie, a word if you please.
Barker.
I would be remiss not to mention how grateful I am for all that you've done for me.
I weren't much of a teacher. You just need someone to prod you along once in a while.
I think we both know that's not entirely true.
You're a smart fella. You would have figured it out yourself. The talking and such.
I think it was much more than a mere matter of talking. You taught me to think like an American.
Meaning I learned how to act rude and such.
At first I thought that, but after a while I realized that there was more to it than that.
Like what?
Like honesty, saying what you mean when you talk and not hiding behind fancy words, as you put it so well.
Well, sometimes the fancy words were pretty nice to hear. Shucks, I think even all your poetry spouting had a kind of charm.
Don't be fooled by charm, Miss Dixie. Where I come from, there was plenty of charm, and not enough truth. You taught me that as well.
I go and lose my temper and you call it truth?
It was an honest temper. I wish I had it.
Shucks, now you're just talking pretty again.
Yes, I suppose I can't help it. Which is why I may as well tell you something I should have figured out for myself a long time ago, but didn't know it until tonight.
What's that?
That it wasn't just the bet. There was more to it than that.
Lots more. Oh, Barclay, I didn't mean to go and change you. I just wanted to help.
And help me you did. I apologize for my rather harsh words earlier this evening.
Well, what about me? I sounded like a wounded polecat the way I behaved.
Yes, and well, that's when I realized that.
What?
Well,
Dixie in here? What is it, Lottie? It's Calvin Fix. He's looking for you, and don't fuss so, Lottie.
I'm telling you, Dixie, he's in a real mean mood, and he's got his bullwhip.
You say Calhoun's got his bullwhip?
That's right, he's looking for Dixie.
There he is!
You have fun for a night, Snuffler.
I'll say.
You talked to that, I couldn't stand.
Real good. Are you really gonna run for mayor?
I don't think that would be a prodigious
Oh,
idea.
but you got to.
We ain't never had a handsome mayor before.
That's the plain truth. Shucks, I think you ought to be sheriff too.
Yes. Well, ladies, I'm very flattered by your kind thoughts and words, but I don't.
Now, we don't want none of that here, so...
Dixie Clyde, ain't I done told you to keep off my land?
I don't need no telling from you. I ain't been near your lousy land.
You've been hunting up near them grove of trees by the stream. I knowed it.
You don't know nothing, Calvin Fix.
I got proof. There's wheel tracks in the mud. Someone's been out there tonight in a rig.
Uh-oh.
my land, and I says it was you.
That says you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't have to listen to me. Listen to this.
Now, we don't want none of that in here, Calhoun.
Shut up, Bertie.
Well. That's a right sharp tongue you got on you, mister. And I don't think I like it one bit.
You don't. And who in Sam Hill is you sawed-off runt of a man?
Barkley Mellenford. You best remember it because you're going to be quaking in your boots every time you hear it from now on.
Is that so? Step outside, pinhead. Because there ain't enough room in here for the ration I'm going to give you.
Barkley, don't!
I'll just meet you outside, mister. I find I ain't doing nothing particular at the moment, so now's a good time then.
Oh, I'm so glad you got an opening in your schedule.
What was that? Lost. You said schedule.
Forget what I said and step outside.
I heard him. He said schedule.
What did you say? Why, you unindicated fake. Where are you from?
None of your business. Texas. No, Kansas territory. No, blast it all. Dorset.
Dorset? I'm from Dorset. Now isn't that a coincidence? What?
You mean he's...
Alani? Been hiding it the past 2 years?
Oh, goodness gracious! Buzzards and buffaloes. Well, I'll be Cal's cousin.
Sir, you mean to tell me that you've been counterfeiting all this time?
I can't tell you how dreadful. Hiding my true self, denying my true speech, pretending to be something I was not. Some days I thought I might take leave of my senses.
Oh, you poor fellow.
And do you know what the very worst was?
Wearing your hat indoors?
The poetry. Making sure I never spoke one line of poetry. It was maddening.
We are such things as dreams are made on.
And our little life is rounded. Oh, the relief.
I don't get it.
Shakespeare.
I figured that. What I don't get is that if you're such a la-di-da, polite Englishman, why you been so ornery since you come here 2 years ago?
I knew that if I acted rude, no one would suspect my secret. Not a living soul would have anything to do with a polite Englishman in the American West.
Trust me, you'd be surprised.
You dear unfortunate man. All that poetry and good reading inside of you. Right now?
That's right, ma'am.
Please.
Thank you, Miss Charlotte.
Well, Mr. Big, if that is your real name,
Cornelius Bickford. Hardly a prepossessing name for a farmer.
except in Dorset. Well, Mr. Bigford, I think that you will find that the good citizens of Wildcat Crossing are not so narrow-minded as you might think. I, too, tried to be something that I wasn't, and was able to pull it off for a time, thanks to Miss Dixie here. But I intend to be myself from now on, and I suggest you do the same.
But I'm afraid I've made too many enemies here.
But that was as Calhoun Vic.
Yes, I do not believe Mr. Cornelius Bigford is very well known to anyone yet. I know I like to make his acquaintance.
Blimey.
Lottie's right, you know. Some of the local gals have taken quite a shine before himself.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I have noticed a certain attraction coming from various females. What about yourself, Miss Dixie? Are you at all attracted to the British male of the species?
I'm attracted to a certain one.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Oh, Barclay, while I was so busy trying to change you, I didn't realize I kind of liked you just the way he was.
That, Miss Dixie, is poetry to my ears.
Well, Sally, what do you think of that?
Don't know.